Hello everybody, good evening, welcome back to That's Football. It's Arsenal against Leeds in the Premier League. Watch along with me, Mark Goldbridge. We're live and it's the second game of the season for Arsenal. Will they be able to get another win and join Spurs at the top of the league? I'm trying to think who else has won 2 games, but I think it is just Spurs and Arsenal. Brentford have just beaten Villa. That's a bad start to the season for Villa. Not seen the game, but that's a bad start for the season for Villa. Ezie has signed for Arsenal as well. That's been official for a few minutes now. I think we all knew it was going to happen, but interesting signing for Arsenal. We can talk about that. Bournemouth beat Wolves, and obviously Sunderland losing to Burnley. So Villa shocking again, says Dr. One. I don't know what it is about Villa. I think this is what happens when you don't make any signings. There's nothing wrong with that squad, but mentally wise, I think they've just not started the season very well, have they? So terrible start for Villa, 1 point from 6, and you would not be expecting to get beaten by Brentford this season, but there we go. And it didn't pay off, says Voiding. Villa spent money in January and it didn't pay off. Well, we are live here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, our second watch along of the day on the home of the watch along, the original gangsters. That's football. I'm not saying we've committed any crimes, but we are a big community and I'm looking forward to this game today. As you can see, that's the Arsenal lineup on your screen. I want to go back to that because I want to start off with Arsenal. Don't you slip away anywhere. So that's your Arsenal lineup, and my prediction for Golden Boot number 14. He's had a lot of stick last weekend from the mainstream, from rival fans, from some Arsenal fans going in on their own player after 60 minutes. But I think he's going to be an absolute revelation, and I think this is the sort of game where he needs to start scoring goals and shutting up some of those morons. So Gyokeres will lead the line. Saka was very quiet against Man United. Obviously, he's done it in a Man United shirt. In an Arsenal shirt, so he can afford to, have a quiet day. Of course he can. But Saka, Madueke as the front three. What a midfield on paper. Zubimendi, Rice and Odegaard, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Timber and Raya. A very settled Arsenal side. And I think what we saw from Man City is that when we saw that lineup before the game, we really, were like, that's a new side. There's a lot of work that needs to be done there. Whereas you look at the Arsenal side, it is very settled. Obviously, Zubimendi and Gyokeres need to settle in more, but there are, and Madueke, but there are 8 players there from last season. What about Leeds? Well, I actually don't have anything against Leeds. I think younger Man United fans, and I'm not that young, but I've never had a rivalry with Leeds. I think the rivalry with Leeds is like the 70s, isn't it? So you'd have to be in your 50s or 60s to appreciate it. Leeds don't like United. Man United don't like Leeds, but honestly, I've got to say, I don't really see it as a rivalry, but therefore I don't really have a problem with Leeds. Perry, Bogle, Rodenstruck, Goodmanson, Tanaka, Groove, Stack, James, Piru and Nonto make up their 11. Every promoted side has a win, by the way, so far. So Burnley have now won, Leeds won on Monday, Sunderland won on opening day. And I think that's a better start than last season. I can't remember who got the first win from the promoted teams, but they started off terribly. Look, I don't think Leeds are going to win this game. I'm not even going to do a prediction because I don't think Leeds are going to win this game. But if Arsenal were to not win this game, maybe a frustrating draw, these are the sort of games Arsenal need to send a message to what they want to achieve. Next week, they're going to Anfield. They need to go to Anfield with 6 points. They play Man City in game week 5 at the Emirates. That was a good result at Old Trafford for them. It's about accumulating points early on in the season because you're never going to be in your rhythm. So what's your score prediction? Well, I'm going with an Arsenal win. I quite like the look of 4-0. Chase has said 4-0. I do quite like the look of 4-0. So, yeah. Screen Boy says, I love the Ezie intro video. I haven't seen it. Maybe... I've never been a big fan of them. You know what? I've never been a big fan of intro videos. Even when I was younger, I've just never been a big fan of them. You sign for a club. I mean, maybe it's because when I was in my, when I was like 10, 11, 12, you went on teletext and it was just text saying Man United have signed Andy Cole or whatever like that. So he's walking out onto the pitch now in a pair of jeans and an Arsenal shirt. He looks very, very happy. But yeah, I don't know about intro videos, but you know what? You know, you can see the smile on his face. That's what it's all about. I mean, if you are an aspiring footballer, look at that. Obviously, Crystal Palace fans might not like it, and the rivals Spurs fans won't like it. But that's nice. That's a nice lineup. Someone's saying it's the wrong lineup. What's the wrong lineup? Arsenal against Leeds. Arsenal against Leeds. Thank you for just pointing that out, but I don't know what's wrong about our lineup. 41, 36, 8, 12, 6, 2, 12, Riot. Oh, got Tottenham on there. Ah, that's why. Thank you. Thank you very much. Tottenham have sneaked in for some reason. Let me take that. Remove that. Add that. Take that. Nope, still got the wrong team. That'll get sorted, don't worry. Our editor's on the job, don't worry about that. But yeah, as I say, I mean, look, I'm no Arsenal fan, but look at that. Walking out in a shirt, looking around, full stadium just before kickoff. It's what dreams are about, you know? You can't knock aspirations, you know? I was in the United States a couple of months ago, and they said, over here, if you drive around in a Ferrari, people applaud you. I said in the UK, they scratch your Ferrari. We're very bad at celebrating success in the UK, I think. And I think, you know, I appreciate the grind from Ezie. And I think that's a very sincere boyhood dream there as he walks out onto that pitch. Fair play. Fair play. Josh says, bore off. Well, I'm allowed to have my opinion, mate, and I'd rather celebrate success than be bitter about it, you know? Unfortunately, I think bitterness is a bad trait in people, and I would rather celebrate people's success, especially when it's earned. I know he's obviously upset Spurs fans, but he chose... Why choose a lie? Why? I feel bad for Spurs, but I feel bad for Newcastle that Sesko chose us over you. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I hated it when Ronaldo wanted to leave Man United to go to Real Madrid, but it's what he wanted to do, you know? I have a feeling Madueke's going to cook today, says Rajaf. I mean, yeah, Madueke on the left-hand side for Arsenal. Strange signing, but it could be one of those. Chanel of Chucky says, Coventry beat QPR 7-1 in the Championship. Coventry have scored 12 goals in their last 2 games in the Championship. 5 away to Derby last week. 7 at home to QPR today. I know a couple of Coventry fans, and at the start of the season, they were saying we're worried where the goals are going to come from. You taking a piss? Yeah. Lovely. I think Paulinho has been a very good signing for Spurs, David. And I think that it's going to be an interesting season for Spurs. Interesting season. I mean, they've just got a... Who've they got? Have they got? Did I say they've got Bournemouth at home next week? I'm sure that's what I said. Let me have a look. Next Saturday. Yeah, home to Bournemouth next week. So they could have 9 from 9. You'd be disappointed if you didn't. But, you know, they're doing well. They're doing well. I need to come back to the Leeds lineup because this is a team I don't know a lot about, so I need to know. I know some of the players, but I don't watch the Championship. But look, this is what you call one of those games where, I mean, Dan James is a blast from the past, isn't he? It feels like a decade ago that he was signed by Manchester United. He's very quick, very, very quick player. But I don't feel that these are the sort of games that Leeds or Burnley or Sunderland are going to be expecting to get points from. And I think if you do get points, that would be great. I think Leverkusen would love to give Ten Hag back to you. Oh, Trig. Leverkusen. lost 2-1 at home to Hoffenheim today. Ten Hag out. That's a bad start to the season for them. I have a feeling Madueke's going to cook. Thank you very much for your super chat. How's your FPL doing, says Kieran? Perfectly, because I didn't do it. What do you think about Okafor? I think a couple of years ago, Okafor looked like a really interesting player. I expected him to maybe do a little bit better. But that's not been the case, has it? So maybe, look, I think there's a good player there. And hopefully that will be the case. Because, you know, I want the teams that get promoted to do well. It's going to be difficult, but I do. But it's difficult. Brentford have won today against Villa. You know, you'd be looking... I think if you're Leeds or you're Sunderland or Burnley, you're looking at that and you're going, you know, that... Who's going to be the team that drops down? Now, Wolves have lost both games. They had a bad start to the season last time. How good do you think Ezie's going to do, Mark? Well, very, very quickly before the game starts, because we are very close to the start of this game. Well, people mention Madueke cooking. Rajab says, I've got a feeling Madueke's going to cook. I bet the Sky Sports cameras are really happy there that they went to the fans and there's a fan there going like that right in front of the camera. Perfect timing by the cameraman there. Go to me, come to me, I've got a lovely view. And then there's a guy going like that. Double. Yeah, I think Ezie will be a very good signing for Arsenal. I think it's the right time at the right place. You know, he's played in London, probably lives in London, moving to a big London club. So he'll be settled. I think it would have been the same as Spurs, by the way. And I presume Ezie will play where Madueke's playing. I think he'll play off the left, won't he? But he can also play centrally. And if you're Madueke, you're probably looking at it and going, how do I get into this team? If you're Martinelli and you're Trossard and you're Wanyeri, there's a lot of options in that team, isn't there now? Anyway, up and running here. Yeah, I'm going to go. I like the look of a 4-0. I fancy a 4-0 to Arsenal and a couple of Gyokeres goals. That's what I'm looking for. DRB says that he's looking forward to watching the Leeds midfielder. Let me get the pronunciation right. Oh, it's easy. Tanaka, number 22. Very impressed with him against Everton. Lovely turn by Gyokeres. And he wins the throw. That was better. That was more like the Gyokeres I know. Into feet, turns and away. And it was difficult against Man United. It's the first game of the season. You're up against 3 centre-backs. One of them was my man of the match in De Ligt. So, you know, he'll fancy it. He'll fancy this today. And also, you would hope, as per Erling Haaland, in a game like this, you might get a couple of good chances. If you want to do the super chats, I'll do that. I'll read those out. Thank you. You can do that through the $sign. And please do share the video. Thanks for tuning in. Lovely ball out wide to Madueke. Arsenal starting on the front foot. Lovely. Oh, I tell you what, it wasn't a good cross, but he was looking for it with that left foot. I think that's something that maybe people don't get about Arteta signing Madueke and Ezie. There's no point having Gyokeres and not having good service. Now, Martinelli's never really massively kicked on, I don't think. But when you've got a striker like that, there's no point if you haven't got service. And they've got to look at that service. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think I did a video on Monday. I just find the Arsenal criticism just so boring, really. Good tackle by Calafiori there. Yeah, I find the Arsenal criticism so boring. You know, the Stoke stuff is just toddler group mentality. Lovely play into Calafiori. Couldn't beat the first man with the cross, but it was good link up with him and Madueke. I think Arteta's an interesting coach. I think he can go into a game and shut it down. And I think he can also go on the front foot. And if you want to win a title, you've got to play different ways. And they've had the best defence in the league for the last 2 years. But I agree, in games like this, they have got to entertain. Oh, that's a bad touch by Gyokeres. He'll be getting clipped up for that. I think we've got the Leeds team on the screen now. Danny says they've been playing Tony Pulis ball for the last 12 months. Well, they must have been playing it in the games I've not been watching, because I find Arsenal a decent team to watch when they want to attack. Very good defensively, but here's Rice. Nice ball out to Madueke. He's had a good start to this game. Into Odegaard. He's going to shoot. Dale says, what's your thoughts on Man City and Pep? Will he leave? Says Dale. Let's see what happens here with Odegaard. Goes wide to Madueke. I will come back to that. Okay, they're on the halfway line. I think that, look, when I saw that Man City lineup before, I just thought, this is not Man City. This is a rebuild. It's a huge rebuild. It's like a new team. And if you want to rebuild, you're better off with Bob the Builder than you are with Pep. Like, he's not a rebuilder of teams. I've never seen him build a team like that. So when I look at Pep going to Bayern, and I look at Pep going to Man City, and I look at Pep at Barcelona, he came into teams that were on a trajectory up. Like, there was already a manager that had been there before that had done well. Remember, Man City had won the league. Bayern Munich had obviously won the league, and I think Barcelona were decent before he came in. I think they'd won a Champions League before he came in. So he may well come back to haunt me, Ty, but he is doing something. What you have to acknowledge is he's never done it before. He's never rebuilt a team before, and that is a rebuild. So there's going to have to be a level of patience, and I'm very intrigued to see if he can do it. But if he can't keep Rodri fit, I don't think he will. Good tackle on Saka there. And referee's gone back to a foul. This Arsenal team reminds me of Mourinho's Chelsea, says Marty. Simon Jordan saying reasonably nice things about you recently. Collab incoming, says Johnny. I'm always open to do it. Please share the video, by the way. We're nearly at 10,000. There's Ezie. He's changed his top. Well, he will be available for the Arsenal game. Declan Rice with the free kick. Goes wide to Saka. For the Liverpool game. And he has had a pre-season. And he is match fit. So, could go straight into it. Odegaard pings it up to the back post. Shout out to Noah, it's his birthday, says Finley. What are you doing tonight, Mark? What do you want to do? Should we go out for a couple of pints? Then home for match of the day. I used to do that. I don't watch match of the day now. I don't watch match of the day. Nice little ball out to Saka. 7 minutes gone. I don't think Leeds have been in the half. Odegaard's going to shoot. Oh, just dragged it wide, but it wasn't far off. Yeah, Leeds not offering anything at the moment. Here we go. Playing out from the back again. Total woke nonsense. Madueke's won it back. That was a foul as well. See, that's what you get. That's what you get when you play out from the back. You know, you can set your clock. He's been booked as well. You can set your clock by this. Crap refereeing and rubbish kicking out from the back. Welcome to the Premier League. Idiotic playing out from the back from goalkeepers and rubbish refereeing. And it is a yellow card as well. It's a bad foul. All comes from trying to play out from the back. I mean, if I'm the coach of a newly promoted side and my second game of the season against Arsenal, in the first 10 minutes, and my goalkeeper is saying, should we play out from the back? Do you want the sack? Do you want to walk home from London to Leeds? Do I want to play out from the back in the first 10 minutes at the Emirates? No, I want you to bloody hoof it as far as you bloody can. Play out from the back. Do you still think that Liverpool will sign Ezie, says Ross? I do. How hard was it not to laugh at the wheelchair super chat? It's a brilliant clip, says Hughes lad. I know nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. I do know what you're talking about, but I don't want to get myself into any trouble. Do you ever miss being able to watch United games at the pub or the stadium or with people, says Rice and Peas? I do. Saka. Good cross. Nobody there. Calafiori. That's a penalty! Mate. Oh, these referees. Saka. Over his head. Mate, that's a penalty. Again. That's a penalty. Watch this back. I know it's a penalty. Have they been abolished? Oh, I don't know. We won't get a close-up on it. Here we go. It's on Dan James. It's probably not a penalty, to be fair. The tweet's gone out. Probably wasn't a penalty. I didn't realise it was Dan James. Definitely not a penalty. You don't want to see it given anyway. Yellow for diving, says Christian. Yeah, I do miss like going pubs, stadium, watching games. But look, I never anticipated even doing this, and you know, it's very popular. So you know, you ride the wave. Look at where it's took us. I mean, every time I think, oh, I might stop doing it, I think, there's no point stopping doing something when you're still on the trajectory. When you're coming down, jump off. That's the way I look at it. Thanks for your super chat, Rice and Peas, anyway. Got me thinking. Did I see the announcement of Ezie, Kevo? I did. Saw him walking out onto the pitch. I thought it was a lovely moment. I haven't seen the announcement video, but as I was saying before, I find them a bit cringe anyway. I know it's the modern way and, you know, fair play. If you like it, that's great. But I don't really... Terrible pass by Gabriel there. I don't really see the point of, you know... Maybe I'm scarred by Alexis Sanchez and a piano. What's for tea? I think I'm going to have a Chinese takeaway tonight. Chinese takeaway, glass of red wine. That'll do me. Thank you very much. Louise O'Donoghue says, totally done. They won't win it. Arteta will be gone next summer. I don't think that Arteta has to win the league, otherwise he'll get sacked. I honestly don't. I think it's been an incredibly amazing summer transfer window. I never expected Liverpool to go and spend £500 million as champions. So although Arsenal finally do have the thing they needed, a striker, and they've made some very good signings as well, they've massively improved their team. I also think that Liverpool have massively improved theirs. So Look, I think if Arsenal didn't win the league, but they finished second and were about 5 points off Liverpool, it would be disappointing, but you wouldn't sack him, would you? You'd just go, bloody hell, not again. If they finish fourth and they're 20 points off the title, I think he's gone. So I think context will be key. That's a foul on Odegaard. Leeds going to have to be careful because they're going to start picking up yellow cards here. I tipped Arsenal to win the league. It's a bit of a niche pick. I also said Gyokeres to win the Golden Boot, and I'm not worried about it yet, but obviously I am aware that sometimes I can jinx people. Mike in Malibu says they'll say Arteta was the guy before the guy. Well, the thing about, I've seen this with United fans as well. Sack the manager, and then you go and replace him with who? Well, no, I don't have to say that. That doesn't mean we should keep him. And I'm like, you're hypothetically sacking a manager. You're not the CEO. So hypothetically replace him. And that would be my question to Arsenal fans. Where would you go after Arteta? If he's the guy before the guy and the next guy's going to win you the league, where would you go? Because Man City have got that problem. I think Pep wanted to go in the summer, but I think they chucked a load of money at him and said, please stay. And he went, okay. Because there isn't a replacement for Pep, is there? Rice with the cross to the back post. And that's headed over. Ange. I'd like to see Ange replace Arteta. I think that would be very fun watch-alongs every week. I think I'd start an Arsenal channel. I'd change the channel to That's Arsenal just for a little bit. Yeah, Man United Fulham tomorrow. We'll be live for that. Is it? Oh my God. Gyokeres is definitely going to get clipped up. I tell you what, he's getting clipped up. What a miss. I mean, look. Playing out from the back again. Playing out from the back. It comes to Gyokeres, dead centre, next to the penalty spot, and he pokes it wide. It was a nervous finish. Arteta can't believe it. But it's playing out from the back again. You know what? I think Gyokeres will come good. I've got to stick by it. I said he'd win the Golden Boot. I look an idiot. But look, what I am really saying is that I am getting very frustrated in week 2 with Premier League clubs playing out from the back. I almost feel like they didn't watch the Champions League last year. There was an evolution of football last year. PSG, Barcelona, wing play, switching the ball quickly from side to side. Why are Premier League clubs still playing the Pep way? Slowly, passy. Why are Leeds playing out from the back, away from home against Arsenal? You've done nothing. I don't think you've been in the Arsenal penalty box. Start hitting it long. Somebody just said groceries for Gyokeres. You know what? You know what? You need goals. Confidence. He needs that first goal. Man City lost, laugh out loud, says Clarence. Is it Onana in goal for Leeds, says Nathan. The Battle of Ezie on Monday, says Suleiman. And Dan says, with the money Arteta has spent, he must win the league. It's not been a great start for Gyokeres, let's be fair. He's just been bullied off the ball here. But I got to be honest. I have said it numerous times before. He didn't have a pre-season. He was on a Mallorcan beach until the end of July. Too much stop-start. I really enjoyed the Bundesliga game last night. The referees let the game flow here. Let the game flow there. This referee, another twat. Stop-start, stop-start, stop-start. You know when you watch another league, you really do appreciate how rubbish our officials are. And it's not just bad decisions. They don't let the game flow. So McTominay's just scored for Napoli. That was better from Leeds. All came from the keeper playing a longer ball. Why not passing that quicker? Dan James, see? Corner now. See what happens there? I've got to take this back. Watch. Keeper. Watch what he does. Watch what the keeper does here. Plays a longer ball. Leads on the attack. It's almost like if you play a longer ball, you might get a chance. You might get up the pitch more. Anyway, corner to Leeds. It's a good corner. It's a great corner. It's an amazing save by Raya. I tell you what, I thought that was going in. I tell you why it's a good save as well. It is straight at him, but it's the ability to get it out for a corner from there. Look at the wrist action. Yes, it's straight at him, but look at how he gets it out of danger as well. Anana would have just palmed it back into play. That's how I judge a save. It's not just the save, it's where the ball goes afterwards. And that speed right at him to get it out of danger, brilliant. Another corner from Leeds. Headed away. Gyokeres, that's good, but he's got Dan James chasing back. You're never going to beat him. Meep, meep. Let's hope this Gyokeres jinx makes Seshko the golden boots, says Nath Footy. I'll tell you what, though. Give Leeds some credit. This is exactly what we said about Spurs. You're 20 minutes in. You're 0-0. If you can keep it going a little bit, then frustration starts to grow in the Emirates and you start to grow more into the game. I tell you what, I just saw an advert for Asahi Lager. I don't know what your thoughts are. I quite like it. I think it's a bit of a hipster lager at the moment in the UK, Asahi, but I do like it. My local's got it. Another corner for Leeds. Let's give it a goal kick. Chinese for me tonight, Brady. Let us know what you're having. Yeah, my local used to have Madri and they got rid of it about 8 months ago. So it's always had Peroni for years. I don't mind Peroni, but I like Asahi at the moment. Thanks everyone who's watching. Please do share the video. Make sure you subscribe. The home of the Bundesliga this year. We've got live games on a Friday and full highlights going out midweek. I can't wait to show you that. What's your order, Mark? I feel like sweet and sour chicken tonight. I feel like sweet and sour chicken tonight. Remember that? Who's old enough to remember those adverts? I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight. Did he? Am I dreaming it, or was it an episode of The Royal Family that Ian Wright did the adverts? He did. Apparently you can still get it. I don't know what it was. I think it was like a sauce that you put on chicken. So 0-0 after 22 minutes. Leeds growing into the game. Good chance from a corner. Good save by Raya. Ash G's given us a super chat. Thank you very much, Ash. He says, congratulations, Mark. It's been good seeing the progress of your channels, and it's fitting that you are the centre of the evolution of football media. Well, look, we open the door so others can follow. Get a lot of crap in this industry from other content creators, yet most of their content looks very, very similar to ours, and they will benefit from most of the doors we try to open. So I don't know why there isn't more appreciation and collaboration, but it is full of what I would call bitter bastards. So, but they will benefit from it, hopefully, because that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? Change the game. Change the game, and you're the ones changing the game. It's the community that does it. The numbers, basically. They can't ignore the numbers. I'm not a big fan of games like this, but you expect it. Defense against attack. Leeds newly promoted. They'd love a point. Nice play into Saka. Odegaard, little dink to the back post. Madueke gets up, goes for a goal kick. Where am I going? Just for a stretch. I don't know what film to watch tonight. Is there any good films out at the moment that you can watch online? I felt like there was a good film I wanted to watch online and I can't remember what it was. That's the trouble. What I normally do when I go on Netflix or Apple TV, if I see a film I want to watch, I watch the first 5 minutes of it. I don't watch the first 5. I put it on, I let it run for a couple of minutes, then I turn it off so that when I come back, at least it's on my continue watching. Because I forget. Johnny English is good. Trilogy. Weapons, says Lawrence Berry. I feel like chicken to... That might have been it. I don't want to watch a horror. Nah. Not watching a horror. It's not Halloween. John Wick, great film, says Olak. No, it's got to be on a streaming service. I'm not going to the cinema. Forget that. Last time I went to the cinema, no word of a lie, I was sat on a row and I was watching Oppenheimer, and this guy, after 10 minutes from the middle of the row, gets up and goes. But he had to walk past someone to go past us, so I couldn't look. And I was worried, because I was watching Oppenheimer, which is about a nuclear bomb. I was wondering, who leaves a film after 10 minutes? He didn't come back. And I thought, I hope he hasn't left a bag or something like that. But obviously I'm all right because I'm still here. But it just bothered me. Bothered me that why would you leave after 10 minutes? Oh, hilarious, YS. Do you really think I'm stupid? I'm never going to read those two words together. Terrible attempt. Mrs. and son are away visiting family for a week, so I'm living La Vida Loca, says Martin G. Chinese and in and on the red wine. Golf tomorrow and United after. Champers. Sounds good. Me and Seb had our weekend last week. All the girls in the house went to Greece. And so, yeah, we went down the pub, had a nice dinner. And then on the evening, I watched Heat, which is the best film ever. I watch it every year and I already miss it a week later. I could sit and watch it. It has a weird pull on me. There's an injury here at the moment. It has a weird pull on me that it looks like it's a substitution as well. Wow. This is not looking good. Well, he's warming up to come off, to come on, but it looks like Odegaard. I mean, he just got a pull. Just got pulled back, and I think he's done something to his... No, I think he's going to come back on. Is he coming off or not? I mean, someone's stripped off. Not literally, but they've took their training top off. No, he's coming back on. Shoulder injury. Yeah, United stands on at 8, Fart Smeller, yeah. Yeah, but there's some... I mean, look, I just love the film. Heat, De Niro, Pacino, massively... Grand Theft Auto 5 is massively modelled on it as well. But it just has a weird hold on me. I could watch it every week. It's just massively watchable. Watch Sinners. It's the best movie of the year, says Leo. 97 on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that that matters. Gyokeres lost all composure when he met De Ligt, says Sent Blanco. Harish, thanks for your super chat. Shetlands has been a good watch, says Sean. Season-long drama. Mark, Alien Earth Episode 2 was better than the last two movies. It's absolute cinema. Also, those xenomorphs are trolling, says Liam. Calafiori's overhit that. No way that's going to stay in. Goes out for a goalkeeper. Goal kick. Leo says, David Raya is so good. Easily the second best keeper in the league. Might even be the best. Is he better than Saka? Well, Saka's not a goalkeeper, Leo. I've watched Clarkson's Farm, Nicky. It's very good. I do enjoy them when they come out, but they are gone too soon. "30 minutes gone. 0-0. Hi, Mark. Watch a film called The Greatest Game Ever Played, based on a true story. Brilliant movie. If you don't watch it tonight, at least have it a go one day," says Wesley. People have mentioned this to me before. It's only got 62% on Rotten Tomatoes. Golf. It's about golf. Although I did like Happy Gilmore. I haven't watched Happy Gilmore 2, actually. Arsenal probing, Leeds organised. That's basically been the story for half an hour. Did you like The Wolf of Wall Street? I feel like you could relate to that lifestyle. A bloody wish, Sifo. Yeah, Leeds are growing into this game. Apparently, Hughes Lad says Happy Gilmore 2 is one of the worst films ever made. It's a shame that films are going down the pan, really. I said this to you the other week. I've started watching rewatching films from the early 90s. There's just so many good films. So it's a bit like music from the 90s. There was so much of it that stuff that would be brilliant now you probably didn't appreciate then. Good battling by Leeds. Odegaard's got it. That needed to go in quicker. That's what she said. Tottenham finished below United last season. They've started season with a bang. United need to win tomorrow. Well, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, Sanchez. I am. I think United will win. Having said that, you know, I'm not going to disrespect Fulham. They're a good quintessential Premier League side, as I've always said. Would you be worried about Gyokeres? No. Like, the thing about him is, look, anybody can be a flop. We've seen it with players that we didn't think would flop. And Arsenal have seen a few. But it wasn't a myth at Sporting. And I do think there is an element of confidence, and I think there's an element of confidence and fitness to this. He didn't get a pre-season. And he needs his first goal. Wesley says, please give the film a watch. Waiting on your feedback. I will definitely give it a watch. No Country for Old Men is one of my favourites, says Bainesy. I find it a bit depressing, if I'm being honest, but it's a very good film. I like Wind River. I'd recommend that to people as a bit of a niche film. Wind River. It's not about a river that's windy. Corner to Arsenal. They used to be good at these. Well, they scored last week. That's a good corner. Oh, they've done it again. And it's Timber. And it's Arsenal from a corner again. And it's a script. It's a bit like Heat, actually. I watch it every year, and Arsenal score a lot of these. 1-0. Timber! 1-0. People are saying Stoke in the chat. It's incredible how well organised you can be defensively. And, I mean, it's not... I wouldn't even say that's a well-worked routine. It just sort of... It's a good header, but, like, I don't even think you could say Leeds have been done there. It sort of lands on his head, really. Lovely header, though. You don't save those. Look, they're very good at corners. They're very good at corners. The Fugitive and US Marshals are good on Netflix, says Anto. Watched The Fugitive last year. It is good, yeah. I mean, I've seen it before. So this should open the game up a little bit now because Leeds can't sit back. You do need a goal in a game like this. It's quite entitled to demand to win the league. It took us 30 years until recently. The Gunners has some years to go, if ever, says Lipper Messiah. Thank you very much for your super chat, pal. What happens if Rasmus sold and Sesko gets injured, says Mitej? That's why I wouldn't do it. I gave up most movies and series all the same, low budget slop. Recently switched to anime and they're interesting. I reckon Attack on Titans, says Liam. Thank you very much for that. Declan Rice done well there. How is Gyokeres playing, says Dara? I'd say below average. I mean, he probably should have scored. He looks a bit rusty. But as I was saying before, Sporting wasn't a myth. And a lot of that was done in the Champions League. So I do think there is a level of education needed with Gyokeres. He doesn't look very good in this game. He didn't look very good against Man United. But I'd have been over the moon if he'd signed for United. I think Arsenal made the right choice going for a more experienced striker. The problem is, he did sit on his arse for most of July, not getting fit. So, I think it will take a bit of time to get up to speed. I don't personally think he's match fit. And on top of that, as a striker, you need a goal. Keep it up, says Jonathan. Thank you. The Foreigner is a good movie. Jackie Chan, says Fitz. Do you think Gyokeres needs to worry with the Ezie signing, says Alec? I don't know that you'd play Ezie in the Gyokeres role. I think that role, whether it's Sesko or Gyokeres, was always going to be a striker's role. How are Leeds playing? I think they've been really well organised, actually, and for a newly promoted side, I think they have been really well organised, and I think you need to appreciate that. There's not a lot going on offensively, but the goal will be so frustrating for them because it is a set piece, and you just be like, when you're an organised team, that's exactly where you'd expect to be good. Zubomendi with a wild volley there, and it looks like Odegaard is going to come off for Arsenal. Doesn't look like he wants to come off. Is it damage limitation? Wanyeri's going to come on. Who's the captain of Arsenal? I thought Odegaard was the captain. He is. Must have given the band over. Anyway, nice to see a bit of Wanyeri. Very talented player. He'll just drop into the number 10 position. Lots of options in that Arsenal side now. I mean, Ezie could play in that position as well. Why is Saka limping? He always limps. Sidant, he's not injured. Smith says, I love Stand By Me and The Goonies. 2 great films. Rebecca says, I missed the game earlier. Was Spurs good or City bad? I just think City lack an identity at the moment because they're all new players. Getting Rodri back will help them. But good play down the wing here from Leeds. The trouble for City is that they've lost already now, haven't they? And they've got some interesting games coming up. Brighton, they lost there last year. Man United at home, they lost to last year. Arsenal away. This time last year, they lost their next 3 games. Brighton away, Man United at home, and Arsenal away. So, Christmas Tree says, what do you think about Godfather 1? I'm more thinking about your name, Christmas Tree, because I'm starting to think, Christmas is not something I've thought about this year at all. But I suppose once we hit September, the countdown begins, doesn't it? What do I think about Godfather? It's a classic. Classic. Nemanja Savic says, Gyokeres chose to sit on his arse for most of the summer, so he doesn't deserve a pass for being rusty. And Bear Merchant says, Binder would have saved that. Vinu says, I lost my dad in April, and this community brings so much joy to my life. Thank you, and congratulations on the Bundesliga. All the best to you and your family. Thank you, Vinu. Sorry to hear about that with your dad, and thank you for being part of this community, mate. Thank you very much. Oh, they've won it back here. Madaway is given a foul. See, in the Bundesliga last night, I don't think that's a foul. Let's have a look again. That probably was a foul, to be fair. Sanchit says, I still don't understand the logic of selling Rasmus Højlund. Having him in the team will only push Sesko to perform better. Money, I think it's money. I think it's about the money. Dale Coleman says, which team will disappoint this season? Based on the first 2 games, I think Aston Villa. They were terrible against Newcastle. I've not seen them today, but losing to Brentford is not what I expected. So I don't think I've done well on win, lose or draw. I said Villa to win. I think Robbie said draw, so I might be okay there. But I definitely think he said Burnley home win. And I think I went with a draw. So I'm losing ground again. Good played by Timber, but won back by Nonto. Ref says play on. You see, I think this is the difference between established Premier League sides and newly promoted teams. I've seen Leeds a few times not play the right pass quick enough. The extra touch. You got to move the ball quicker. Axel says, love United stand. Attack on Titan is a great show. Thank you very much for your super chat, pal. Which team do I think will disappoint this season? Look, there's always context in disappoint, isn't there? I mean, if Villa finished 9th, I think that's disappointing for them. If Brentford and Wolves get relegated, they would be classed as the teams that haven't done very well. If Man City finish outside the top 3, that would be classed as disappointing. I think it's too early in the season to predict. West Ham don't look very good. George says, do you think West Ham, Brentford or Wolves could get relegated? I don't think West Ham would get relegated. I think that's a big step to say that. But Brentford is a great result for Brentford today. That will give them some confidence. They didn't concede either. And Wolves started badly last season but still stayed up. But they don't have Cunha. So Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland need one of those teams to have a bad year. Man United missed a punt on Palhinha, says Knight, mate. Yeah, I thought he was brilliant today for Spurs. You should do a Christmas movie watch-along, says Mitesh. I used to do watch-alongs on Twitch where you could actually play the film. I don't think you can do it anymore. I think watching a film as a watch-along is really difficult, though, because there's just so much dialogue that you need to listen to. You can watch football without dialogue. In fact, I find it better. But you can't really watch a film and talk. Anyone else falling asleep to Arsenal? Most boring team in the top 8, says Blah. Swag says, how's your day, Mark? Good. Good. Obviously a very busy week getting all that set up last night. You know, there's a lot of organising, stress. I felt with the Bundesliga thing last night, I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't until the second half that I felt totally happy because we had a couple of audio issues, but yet again, you supported us through it and we absolutely smashed it. So I've really enjoyed today because the pressure's off doing this sort of thing. So yeah, just a nice weekend. Bank holiday weekend in the UK too. So Man United tomorrow. Newcastle, Liverpool on Monday. So a good weekend of football. And the only bad thing is there's a bloody international break coming. I despise the September international break. It comes way too soon. I don't mind us having one in October and November, but the September one is just, you know, I don't know what prat organised that. Who would think it's a good idea to have an international break 3 games in? It's just so stupid. Lovely play, Wanyeri. And he gets tackled. But well won back by Rice. Zubimendi into Saka. What a goal. What a goal. Right on half time. And if you say Arsenal are boring, that goal was not boring. It all came from quick movement. Broke down with Wanyeri, but then Rice wins it back. Zubimendi quickly into Timber. Plays it into Saka. And a lovely finish. And a lovely goal. And Arsenal are now 2-0 up. And cruising. Saka is back, says Kevin Carter. Yeah, lovely finish by Saka, that. Lovely work goal as well. And it all comes from Declan Rice winning that ball back. And that's what he does. Watch it here. This is lovely play by Arsenal. And it breaks down with Wanyeri. But look at Rice here. Brilliant. Wins it back. Zubimendi very, very quickly into Timber. Lovely ball by Timber. And then an absolutely brilliant finish by Saka. Look at this. Look at the trajectory on that and the power. You can't get his hand quick enough. Perry can't do anything about it. It's just pure power. Look at that. Can't do anything about it. Lovely goal by Saka. 2-0 to Arsenal. Right, they just got to get Gyokeres on the score sheet now. He needs that first goal. And you don't want to be chasing that first goal because you stop doing the things that you need to do. One observation I do actually agree with is that does Arsenal's style of play actually suit an out-and-out striker? They haven't had one for so long. Will they cater for that striker? That's the thing that Arsenal have got to, figure out is how they get their striker into the game because they haven't played with one for so long. Just Joe says, I was going to put Timber in my fantasy Premier League team. You should have done. He's gonna make the bag tonight, isn't he? He's got a goal, an assist, and obviously he's on track for a clean sheet. Mittish says, am I the only one not surprised if we lose tomorrow? Anything can happen in this Premier League. Ate Your Chip says, what are your thoughts on Sunderland? Bodied West Ham last week and then got bodied today by a relegation rival. Can't figure out if they're good enough yet. I think that was always a tough game for them. Burnley's first home game of the season. Both newly promoted sides. It was always going to be a tough game, yeah. Half-time at the Emirates. 2-0 to Leeds. Sorry, not 2-0 to Leeds. 2-0 to Arsenal. Let's have a quick look at those stats while they're on the screen. I've gone now. Every time. Not quick enough. Let's get them back. But look, it's been efficient from Arsenal. They've been, you know, people say boring. I say, well, look at Leeds. One shot on target that came from a corner. 37% possession. They are sitting back and counter-attacking. And they're now in a position where they're going to have to sit back even more because they don't want to get a pounding. So it's a tough prospect for teams sometimes when you get an opposition that comes, sits in, plays for a 0-0, and then will continue to sit in because they don't want to get beat 4 or 5-0. You look at the Arsenal, you look at the West Ham Chelsea game. The reason Chelsea scored so many goals is because West Ham kept trying to get back into the game. I don't think Leeds have changed their tactics at all. I think they're sort of like, anything we get here is a bonus, but let's not get smacked. So they're just going to keep sitting in and sitting in and sitting in. SNS says I've captained Gyokeres instead of Pedro. London Red 83 said if that goal was against Onana, you'd be slagging him off. Fact. He's crap though, Onana. So probably would slag him off, yeah, because he's technically shit. But I don't know on that. I think the goalkeeper, I think the ball's, I don't know whether you've ever played in goal, but when you're in goal and you set yourself like that and your arms are down and somebody shoots above your above your right shoulder, it's difficult. It's difficult to get you can't, if the ball's quicker than your hand movement, what are you supposed to do? It's a bit like the first goal that Spurs scored today. I don't think James Trafford makes a mistake, even though the ball hits him. I don't think he can move his arm quick enough. And I think as a goalkeeper, it's hard to save a quick shot when it's in on your body like that. Some people say it's playing boring Arsenal. Look, I get it. I really do get it. But what I don't get is the Arsenal fans that say it's boring when you're going to have 6 points from 6 and you're going to Liverpool next week. I don't get that criticism when ultimately, if you want to win a league, you're not going to play well every single week. So, yeah, it's not been the most scintillating games. And I've got to say on Gyokeres, because a few people are talking about that, he has looked poor. I admit he's looked poor. But as I said, it wasn't a myth at Sporting. And there was somebody in the chat before, and I couldn't even be bothered to reply to it. They were going, yeah, the Champions League thing wasn't a myth. He only scored 6 goals in the Champions League. But this is exactly my point. Exactly my point. Because you're talking about goals. And for a striker, goals are important. But he also got a lot of assists as well. Like, I watched Sporting in the Champions League a few times, and he looked a lot better than he did here. Now, anybody can flop, but if we're calling somebody a flop after a game and a half, I think we've got a problem. You know, people were trying to call Wirtz a flop. They're trying to call Cherky a flop. They're saying Reinders is overrated now because he was shit today, but he, you know, scored goals against Wolves. Most new signings don't hit the ground running, and I blame society and on impatience. I completely understand why we have impatience, because everybody is impatient. They're always swiping here, swiping there. But Gyokeres doesn't look sharp at all. But there are reasons for that. I think he needs to score a goal ASAP because this media in this country is unforgiving. And I think he needs to get up to speed quick as well, because he does look a little bit rusty. And the Premier League is obviously the most intense league in the world. Rasmus is better than Gyokeres, but similar types as Ronnie. I agree. I think there are similarities, definitely. Is Ezie going to be the signing to win them the league? Says it's Louis. I think Ezie's a really exciting signing for Arsenal because he's just a very exciting player, and I think Madueke's done quite well today. And Saka's a fantastic player. But how Ezie fits into this side, I think is going to be really, really interesting. And obviously he's another flair player. So, but it all starts off with the corner. The movement from us. You see, I think I'm looking at them, white trainers brigade. Look at bloody Redknapp in his white trainers here. Walcott's ready to go in his white trainers as well. Why do they wear white trainers? But the point I was going to make is I think people go over the top about corners, but all Arsenal have done here is a load of players have ran from the back post to the front post, and people start knocking one out going, look at the movement, look at the movement. Effectively, where that ball lands, there's no real shoving from Arsenal. There's no real big thing going on. It basically lands on Timber's head, and he's not marked well enough. It's a good corner, but you're going to get that with Arsenal. It's a fantastic header. Am I the only one surprised? I've done that one from Mitesh. Thank you very much. The problem has been the final pass and finishing the pass. If they improve by making that switch to cater the striker breakdown defence, they'll be well in, says Kunch. Any truth in Bruno holding talks again with Saudi, says Chris. We'll talk about that at 8 o'clock. Yeah. Football fans are too impatient, says Diogo. I did a video on it this week. A lot of people just don't like Arsenal. A lot of people don't like Arsenal in the media. A lot of people don't like Arsenal in this chat. A lot of people don't like Arsenal online. I think that I don't necessarily understand what it is, because for me, I would choose Arsenal winning the league over Liverpool or Man City every day of the week. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I mean, I think I said Stoke have scored just for a laugh on Twitter. But I regardless of whether you like anybody or not, I want a title race this year. I want a proper title race this year. I'd love to see a Spurs stay up there. I mean, ideally, I'd love United, but there's no chance of that happening, I don't think. But I'd love to see an open Premier League. I mean, imagine it'd be great if Newcastle beat Liverpool on Monday, wouldn't it? You'd have the two North London clubs top, Man City and Liverpool losing a game already, Arsenal going to Anfield next week. I mean, we want an interesting Premier League. I'd like it to be tight at the top. I'd like to see 3 or 4 teams up there. So I think the Premier League's desperate for it. And it's the same at the bottom as well. I think we need to see a relegation battle. That we've not seen one of those in years. Do you see a way back for Leeds? No. No, I think it's... Somebody said at the start 4-0. I said I quite like the look of that. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal got another couple of goals. Why did you go for Arsenal to win the league? Because they've had the best defence in the league for the last couple of years. They're very good at set pieces, which I think is a big part of the game now, whether we like it or not. They're probably the most... And I think this is a good point. They're probably the most stable team in the Premier League who can win the league. Man City, as we saw today, that's a complete rebuild. Chelsea are very young. And Liverpool, to be fair, have had quite major changes to their team. Obviously, with the fullbacks, the forwards. Obviously, Luis Diaz going. The tragic loss of Jota. Trent and Robertson have gone as well. So I think Liverpool have got a few changes in their team as well, whereas Arsenal have a bit of stability. So, yeah, the style of play may not be easy on the eye, but I'd expect them to be up there. I think they've learnt a lot over the last few years. So, you know, I might be wrong, but that's my feeling. Yasmin says, Arsenal fans were so mesmerised by that 2024 second half run with so many goals that we feel like we've not been as fluid ever since. Chemistry will come post-signings, start of the season, not 2022, says Jasmine. Who do you think will win the Champions League, says Mohammed? Well, based on what I saw from Bayern Munich last night, I'd say them. But look, that's Bundesliga bias. I think one of the big things, Robertson hasn't gone, but he has been replaced. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like Gyokeres is your new fullback, so that's a change. But who's going to win the Champions League? It's way too early in the season to predict it. I predicted Liverpool. I think we need, as much as I don't want Liverpool to win it, I think the Premier League needs to start exerting its authority on the Champions League. Like, we're the best league in the world and we burn out every bloody March. So I think a Premier League team needs to win it. So I've gone with Liverpool. But I do think the Club World Cup's going to have an impact on PSG. I do think the Club World Cup's going to have an impact on clubs. Barcelona could benefit from not being in it. Real Madrid, I don't know. John Paul Gallagher says Chelsea could win the Champions League. And for a minute there, I forgot you were even in it. Of course you are. Spurs could win it. I don't know whether it'll be a hindrance or a help being in the Champions League for Spurs. I mean, obviously it'll be a help financially. It'll be a major help financially, but it can impact your squad. It really can. LFC Joe says Arsenal are going to walk the league. Our squad depth is pathetic. It's interesting to get that sort of comment from a Liverpool fan, because obviously there's been a lot of transfer activity, but the game's never been so intense, has it? So, squad depth is so important. I think Liverpool will be up there. Yeah, I think Liverpool will be up there. Liverpool are the favourites. I just have a feeling this will be Arsenal's year. And there's a large part of me that doesn't want it to be Arsenal's year as well. Some of their fans can be quite irritating, but so can fans of all clubs. I think Chelsea are an interesting club as well. Look, people will say teams can't win the league until they go and win it. And Chelsea's trajectory is certainly to go and win it at some point. But I just think they lack a little bit of experience, which is natural. They're a young side. Right, let's get this second half going. Yeah, I am on the United stand at 8 o'clock. I need to have a look at some bloody news. Yeah. Are you going to be heading to Germany for any of the Bundesliga? Yes. Yeah, I mean, that was part of the conversation when we got the deal. I was like, please let us come over to Germany and do some stuff. I loved that video we did at Charlton last year, so I'd love to be there on a Friday night doing something. Fly back for the Premier League on the Saturday. Be great. Man United aren't in Thursday night football this year as well, so I could go to Germany on the Thursday night, have a few German beers, and then do the Friday night, then fly back Saturday morning for the Prem. Just works. So, yeah, I'd like to go and do it, especially in the autumn. They have all the beer fest and everything, don't they? Right, we're coming out for second half here. Thanks for all your support, by the way. The most watched watch-along by a long way, as per usual. You are the best. Make sure you subscribe and get involved. To today, we're back on Monday on this channel, but for Newcastle against Liverpool. But also tomorrow, we'll be on the United stand for Manchester United against Fulham. And don't forget, this week, we'll have our first of 34 weekly Bundesliga highlight shows with full goals, every single goal. So we are looking forward to it. Just waiting for the second half to start. I'd love to see Gyokeres get a goal. I feel I'm in the minority here on that one. I want him to be a success because I like him. I think he's a good striker. But I hope any UK club wins. It's good for our country, says Jimmy. Thank you for being a good entertainer, says Lumpy Steve. Most people don't like Arsenal because of Arteta. He is just sly and a bit creepy, says Sanchez. Lewis says, do you think Cunha has the Manscaped lawnmower? I don't know, Lewis. Arsenal fans were so... I've done that one from Jazz Meat as well. Well, the cameras are all on Gyokeres. They're not going to stop. So let's see what he can do in this second half. New timer. Come on in, ref. And away we go. Okay. I don't know what you do if you're Leeds in this situation. What would you do? It's easy to sit here in a chair and say I'd do this, that and the other, but I honestly am going to tell you what I would do, and it won't please anybody. But I would... honestly, I would keep it tight at the back and continue to do what they're doing. Try and keep the scoreline down. You never know how important goal difference is going to be. I mean, look, if you were good enough to go on the front foot and score goals, you'd have done that in the first half. They're not good enough to do that. What they have done is been very well organised. And I'd be like, look, keep it 2-0. If we get a corner and make it 2-1, they might get a bit nervy. We get back into it. But I wouldn't change the approach. Here's Saka down the left-hand side. I mean, he's a wonderful player when he gets going, of course. United fans keep up the pressure on Gyokeres, says GGMU. Why do you support so bad an Arsenal player, says Wan? I don't think people understand my approach and content at all. We got called That's Liverpool over the summer. You know, apparently I'm an Arsenal fan as well. Sometimes I'm a Tottenham fan. It's just a love of football. I just like football, and I don't really like being bitter about things. So I'd rather just appreciate honestly what football is. If somebody's shit, I'll say it. If somebody's good, I'll say it. And ultimately, it's a Saturday night. I'm watching Arsenal against Leeds. You've got to have a... You know, if you're taking your time to watch Arsenal against Leeds, you've got to have a passion for football, haven't you? Otherwise, you just sit and watch your own club. Chris, thank you very much for your super chat. Apparently, I'm not even going to get into that. Has Nuno actually been sacked as Forest manager, or is it just nice ball into the channel? Here's Gyokeres into the box. Needs some support. Oh, what a goal! What a goal, and I was here for it. Sit down, Gyokeres haters. There's the celebration. Oh, we go. Wow, it's a great goal. It's a great goal as well, and that is, I mean, I'm not even a bloody Arsenal fan. I just like Gyokeres, and that's exactly what he can do. And that shuts up everybody from Carragher to any other fan who says he can't do it in the Premier League, he doesn't look that good. That's exactly what he is. Ball into the channel, gets onto it, direct, cuts in, finish. It's just immaculate, the whole goal. Whole goal is brilliant. Watch it back. What a goal. It's just brilliant. Into there. Lovely foot. You know what? It's good. He's a good dribbler as well. Good dribbler. Nice little close control. Dribbles his way through. Could have took the penalty and a lovely finish. Brilliant goal. Nothing fortuitous about it. Individual goal as well. Goes and gets the goal himself, which Arsenal fans will like because he's not... Some people are saying he's like Haaland. He needs service, but he can score goals off his own back. Dribbler, runs the channels, gets assists, but he's got that first goal. And I tell you what, he'd love a tap-in for his first goal, but what a first goal for Arsenal. And now, the confidence flows. He'd be buzzing his tits off for that. Really good first goal for Arsenal. And it shows what he's all about as well. Like, he can score goals off his own back. And that's a very, very important thing to have as a striker. Somebody who can do it on their own. I think Haaland's world class, but he can't really do it on his own. He's not that type of a striker. Do you think we will beat Fulham? It's relegation zone, 2 games in. You don't want Chelsea next. How many points in next 7 league games? That's a lot of questions, Ola. That's a lot of questions. Look, United need to win tomorrow. This is a good run by Saka. Calafiori, he's going to shoot, Leeds need to be careful here. 3-0 down after 50 minutes. Saka might be injured, Arsenal fans. Oh, that's not good. A moment of ecstasy to a moment of panic. He's down. Oh. This is not good. Right before Anfield as well. And Man City coming up in a few weeks. And it looks like it's a hamstring, which is what he did before, isn't it? He's not happy. He can't believe it. Is that the hamstring he did before? The thing about your hamstring is, I did mine in 5-a-side in March, and, you feel it. Oh, no, he's up. I think he'll come off. Yeah, he's coming off. He's giving the band up. Trossard's coming on. Louise Donahue says, and Arsenal's challenge is over. Well, you say it's over. You say it's over. I think that's the reason you've got Ezie. That's the reason you've got Madueke. Saka's top class. He's top class, but Madueke and Ezie now become really important because last year it's Trossard, Martinelli and Nwaneri, isn't it? It's just how significant that injury is going to be. Can anybody tell me if that's the hamstring he did before? Because I know for a fact the hamstring he did before was a really bad one. Like really bad. I think with your hamstring, you can tweak it and there's grades of tears. And I think he literally ripped it off, didn't he? It was really bad. Had a hamstring transplant. So he's still very young, Saka, as well. I hate it when talented players... It's 23. 23. Jacob thinks it's a different hamstring. And that can happen as well, because if you know, it's like your knee. If you have a knee operation, a lot of the time your other knee ends up getting injured because it's having to adjust and take the load. Look, he knows his body. He's probably felt a little tweak. It might just be a few weeks. Matthew says that's Arteta's fault for rushing him back last year. I think that's a bit of a... He's had a summer holiday, mate. He didn't play in the Club World Cup. Yeah, it's a bit of a flat moment for Arsenal fans. That you get an amazing debut goal, not a debut, an amazing first goal from Gyokeres, and then a few seconds later, Saka's out. But Madueke's gone to the right, Trossard to the left. I think Madueke's looked good. Good run there as well. I think Madueke's looked good today. Very weird signing. Didn't think he really did that well at Chelsea. But Wanyeri, a bit wild shooting there. I'm an Arsenal fan, says Daniel. No injury. We're just trying to avoid the international break. Yeah, but you have got Liverpool next week. I don't think you'd make Saka miss the Liverpool game just so he doesn't play for England. Saka could be another Michael Owen. There is this weird thing in this country where we do overplay. We do overplay players. Gyokeres scored the third, Luke, and it was a cracker. Look, on a positive note, it's an Arsenal corner. And nearly scored again. And they have scored again. Another corner, another goal. I tell you what, I don't play FPL, but if you haven't got Timber in your team, it's season over. And if you have got Timber in your team, you've won your league. It's goal number 2 for Timber. He's already got an assist. And he's probably going to get a clean sheet. It's 4-0. Another set piece. And Leeds, I have to say, are now staring down the barrel of an absolute pounding. 4-0. And as we know, when you're up near the top, goal difference becomes key. And Arsenal have got a real opportunity now. 4-0 up after 56 minutes. I mean, this is not about set pieces. This is just bouncing around in the box. Probably a handball. There's a handball there. What's the handball rule? Because there's multiple handballs in there. I mean, Saliba definitely handles it. I think the Leeds defender handles it. I don't think that will be given. I don't think that will be given. I think he handles it. Look. Yeah, he actually moves his hand. I think that will be a handball. Then again, knowing VAR this weekend, yeah, they're going to give it. I think Saliba knows it as well. Well, that's not the angle, is it, you twat? Go back to the angle we've all just seen. They're giving the goal. VAR is weird. I mean, it doesn't make a difference, but that was a handball, and they review it on a camera that doesn't show it. Look, I'll honestly say I don't understand the handball rule, but it drops to Saliba and he sort of moves his hand a little bit. I mean, is it a handball? Is it not? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think VAR know either. And it doesn't even matter. Sanchez says if it was his right hamstring, it's the same. It was definitely his left. Definitely is left. Leper Messiah says he had a look of despair in his face. Wow, you know, I think some people have a look of despair on their face just because they're injured, you know. But on the bright side, I was playing five-a-side in March. I've never had a hamstring injury in my life. And I was sprinting along to close down a shot, and I felt this pop on the back of my leg. And for about an hour, it just felt ridiculously heavy. And I thought, definitely that's a bad injury. And I was back playing in 48 hours. So it might not be bad. Jordan says they said it hit his chest on commentary. I mean, if that's... Look, I'd rather they said it's not interfered with play, because he definitely moved it with his hand. But look, as I've said, VAR is absolutely shit. If you've not seen the Spurs game today, Spurs won 2-0. James Trafford should have been sent off, inexplicably stayed on. Porro, I think, should have had a penalty. Man City should have had a penalty. And God knows what's gone on in the 3 o'clock games. VAR continues to destroy the Premier League with its incompetence. Well, look at that handball last week for Bournemouth. I mean, he literally thinks he's playing volleyball and nobody does anything about it. It's almost like they have switched VAR off because there doesn't seem to be any ability to review. De Bruyne scored, says Barner. Well, Gyokeres is off the blocks with a wonderful, wonderful goal. And I'm sure that's ruined a few journalists' articles, actually, because that have been loving going in on Gyokeres. Carragher will be throwing his white trainers out the window. That's me Monday night show ruined. Gary, that's me Monday night show ruined. I was going to absolutely batter Gyokeres. I was going to say how rubbish he is. And he'd gone and scored a really good goal. And I can't pick any holes in it. I'm fuming, Gary. I'm fuming. Who do I pick on now? This is that lad, isn't it? Dowman. Not really seen anything of him, I haven't. I've heard a lot of people saying he's amazing. So let's see what he's all about. I don't take notice of pre-season and youth teams. It's all about what you do in the first team in a competitive game. It's always been the way. United, class of 92. Get them in the first team, see what they can do. He's world class at set pieces, says Pat. All the cameras are on him. What position does he play? I bet he's a cam, isn't he? Attacking midfielder or a winger. He's only 16. Oh my God. That is incredible. The Independents have said that Arsenal named 15-year-old on bench for Premier League match. It's not 15. He's 16. No, he's 16 this year. Fucking hell, he is 15. What the hell is going on? How's he 15? Is this a record? 15? My God. I mean, what a perfect game to do it in when you're 4-0 up. 15 years of age. It's got to be a record. I mean, that is just absolutely incredible. I mean, look, if you're a young lad, don't think this is normal. Don't, like, say I've got to be playing for Man United or Liverpool at 15. This is incredible. I've been watching football for, well, all my life. And I'm in my 40s. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Very excited. Mascara coming on as well. I think he's going to be a good signing for them. Lewis Skelly's a good player as well. The Arsenal bench is good. I mean, I've not even mentioned the bench of Arsenal today, but Kepa, Dauman, Kivior, Lewis Skelly, Martinelli, Marino, Mascara, Wanyeri, Trossard. They've got depth in that team now, and they've got youth as well, which I think is really important. Apparently, it's not the record. Was Rooney 15? I always thought Rooney was 16. He's not 16 until December as well, so he's 15 and a half, basically. Bloody hell. Well, I think it's incredible because it's like, sometimes it's like, size as well, isn't it? Like, to be ready physically to play at 15 and a half at the highest level of football is just amazing. Wanyeri was apparently the youngest. Can you show the games as disciplined HK? I don't have Premier League TV rights. We've got Bundesliga, but we don't have Premier League. What about JJ Gabriel, Mark? Oh, I mean, hopefully that can happen. He's a very, very talented player. But look, it's a great opportunity for Arteta. You're 4-0 up with half an hour to go, and you can get him on. That's not a foul, ref. That's actually not a foul. And this is what I mean. That's not a foul. It's a shoulder barge. That's not a foul. They both shoulder barge each other. Crap, ref. Wanyeri was 15 years and 181 days. I mean, that's just incredible. I don't think I clocked the fact that Wanyeri was that young as well. I mean, look, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing to be ready at that age. When I was 15, is that 15? 15 is that your last year at school? When you're 15, yeah. You're 16 in your final year at school, aren't you, in England? So 15. Yeah, there's just no way. I mean, obviously, there's no way I wasn't good enough, but what I'm saying is, dealing with that mentally, bloody hell. I haven't had my dinner yet. Year 11. Oh, it was year 5 when I was at school. We didn't start counting in primary school. When you went to secondary school, you were year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. I remember Odegaard playing in Norway at 15, being the best player in the league. Not the same as the Premier League, but to see that kid outplay grown men, it's amazing, Slazy, isn't it? Watching Mark, he's unbelievable. He's the next Jamal, says George. Well, that's good for Arsenal. Yes, lads, UTV's an Arsenal Villa fan. He says, worried about our start. Well, I haven't seen you today, but losing to Brentford, I mean, you beat them last year, didn't you? And they were a good team. They're not good this year, and you've lost. You were crap against Newcastle last week. I don't get it. I think it's just a lack of ambition. I think a lack of signings has led to a bit of a lacklustre start. Bittersweet, but Gyokeres, I was here. I did not expect that beauty on the left flank, says Jasmeet. Well, we're waiting for Dauman to get his first real touch on the ball. Another foul, another stop-start. think Leeds will stay up? I don't think these are the sort of games where that will be decided. Obviously, next week, they'll be back at Ellen Road. And if they could take 6 points from the first 9, this would be a complete and utter irrelevance. They're at home to Newcastle next Saturday at 5:30, and that's the sort of game where if you can pick up points, you're going to stay up. But every game's a challenge in the Premier League. You've got to hit 40 points, and to hit 40 points, you've got to win like 12 games, haven't you? 4 draws and 12 wins. And if you're gonna, you can't just beat Burnley and Sunderland. That's not going to be enough. Okafor's on for Leeds, by the way. I think, look, Leeds have been quite competitive, but they're 4-0 down. 2 set pieces. I just want to see this Dowman get on the ball now. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, get involved. I am on the United stand at 8 o'clock, yes. 8 o'clock tonight. There's a new Daniel Day-Lewis film coming out. And Sean Bean's in it as well. Oh, to see what you can do. Let them rest, for pity's sake. It's Baller League all over again. Bim, 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 bim. It's a nice ball in. Here we go. Bit of space. Go wide to Dowman. Wanyeri ignored him there. Oh, maybe there's a bit of teenage jealousy going on there. Why did he not pass to Dowman? Seriously. Do they not get on? He could have played him in then. He was in acres of space out on the right wing, and Wanyeri just was never going to play that pass. Hey, look, I'm not saying it is going on, but it definitely does go on. I've played the game. We've all played the game, and sometimes people don't want to pass, even to certain players. Now, as I say, I'm not saying that's going on, but you know, maybe he wants to be the superstar of the team, or maybe he just didn't see the pass. In which case, he needs to improve his vision. Here we go. Dowman's got it. Let's have a look. Left footer, I like it. Bad pass, but well recovered. A very efficient start to the season by Arsenal, this. No goals conceded, 5 goals scored. They needed it. They go to Anfield next Sunday. Any interest in visiting the new Everton Stadium? I got a ticket to go tomorrow with my dad, and I'm pretty thrilled for this historical day, says Dance. I thought Dowman was going to win a penalty there, but referee says no. I'm probably banned, mate. I was banned from Goodison. To this day, I don't even know why, but yeah, I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk it. What does this performance say about United, to Sebastian? Nothing. Nothing. Because it's a different game. I'll tell you what, the Fulham game tomorrow says everything about Man United. We played well against Arsenal. We lost. We now need to go and win against Fulham tomorrow. That's what Man United's all about. I'm having my Chinese after this. They've been out to get it, and I can hear them. They're back. Ah, no, 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 no. No. I'm still suffering with my rib injury and I couldn't stop it then. I cannot afford to tear it again. It is a bit sore today. Worst injury I've ever had. Tell me what's the worst injury you've ever had. Don't tell me like you had your leg amputated. Like, you know, I don't mean it like that. I mean like a muscle strain or something like that. Lovely switch of the play by Trossard. Now, Dowman's got lots of space here. Let's see what he can do. Oh, two, see what you can do. He's on his left. He's on his left. I thought he was going to have a Rooney moment there. He shoots over the bar. He was always going to shoot. He's always going to shoot. You can't blame him. You know, Rooney did it against Arsenal at Goodison, didn't he? You know, you cut inside. For a moment there, I thought we were going to see a bit of history. What could have been? Now, lots of people have done a lot of things in here. Hyperextending my knee was bad, says PZ. I've never really had many injuries in my life. Despite playing a lot of football and stuff, I've never really had any bad injuries. This injury was just ridiculous. I basically did it playing football, twisted and felt something around the back of my ribs. And then it was sore. And then I stepped down into the cellar at the mother-in-law's the weekend after, and I felt it do it again, and I couldn't. I was doing an 8 o'clock show actually, and every time I laughed it hurt. I couldn't roll over, and that was about 2 months ago. And it's gradually getting better, but it's just, yeah, it's called an intercostal muscle injury, and I think a lot of people get it who play golf and stuff because you twist. Don't do it. And it's the most frustrating injury ever because there's a lot of things you can't do that I was doing before. And if you aggravate it, you're right back to square one again. So it really makes me appreciate people who are injury prone and the mental barrier you go through. Oh, I can still do that random. It's got nothing to do with my hips. Thrusting away is no problem. Stubbed your toe. That can be painful. You know what I've noticed as well? My big, you know, like you've got your big toe. You know the toe next to it. It's slightly longer than the toe, the big toe, and I've never noticed it before, and I keep tripping on it. Is that a thing? Why would you can't? You're not going to grow. Your toes aren't going to grow bigger, are they? Johnny says I can't walk. Very painful. I'm not going to read that out, Johnny, because it might be a made-up thing. You've got to be careful these days with the chat. They can be quite rude. No, this is real. Plantar fasciitis is a common condition causing pain in the heel and arch of the foot, often worse after rest in the morning. Leeds on the attack, but Arsenal clear away. They're very proud of their clean sheets, Arsenal. Good play by Gyokeres there. He's getting more confident in his hold-up play now, isn't he? That goal is going to really help him out. I did say 4-0, but I said Gyokeres would score too. So you can't have everything. Broken collarbone, done it a month ago. I snapped my banjo string once. That was my worst, says Mimo. Thoughts on Spurs' chance of silverware? Take it game by game, Tyler. I wouldn't fancy Spurs to win anything this year because they're in the Champions League. But you know what? I'm really pleased that Thomas Frank's doing well. I like him. I broke my rib, which punctured my lungs, says TMAF. Ribs do hurt, don't they? Daniel says, I dislocated my knee at 15, waited an hour for an ambulance, so I was not dying. Welcome to the UK, mate. Well, I presume you're in the UK. Broke my back in 2 places the month I turned 17, says JC. Ooh, sounds painful, that. Here's Trossard. You'd think when you did it the first time, you'd stop what you were doing. Ran my first half marathon today. 1 hour 50. Decent, says Dad Rock Norway. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. Someone in the chat will know. Liam broke his collarbone a month ago. Currently got a herniated disc and sciatica. Wouldn't recommend it. I get lower back pain, Fraser. It's not great. One year he's helping up Downman there. They do get on. He probably just didn't see the pass. Torn my groin going for a header. Was out for a year, says Josh. Oh, God. Just looking at this Downman play here. I don't... 15. I mean, look, that's something about Arsenal that has gone, probably doesn't get the publicity it deserves. Lewis Skelly, Wanyeri, Dowman, they've also got a line of talent coming through. So it's not always about spending money, is it? It's a good free kick position here for Arsenal. Wanyeri's on it. In comes the cross. It's a good one, and it's good defending by Leeds because... Oh, was that Dowman again? He's had a couple of chances to score a couple of bangers and really announce himself. I'm sure he's going to announce himself many times at Arsenal anyway. But it would be nice to see him score a goal, wouldn't it? I bet the excitement there as that stood up for him. Just cuts across it a little bit. Just cut across it. I've had left knee meniscal tear and a right knee grade 3 ACL playing in college, says Jasmine. I think when you're a sports person and you get injured, it's the most frustrating thing in the world. Pre-3 says, I hurt my wrist and I couldn't pleasure. Yeah, we'll stop there. We'll stop there. What's your thoughts on Dowman so far, Mark? First time I've really looked at him. I mean, I think it's incredible to be playing for Arsenal in the Premier League at 15 and a half. It says a lot about his talent and it says a lot about his potential. Look, I've only seen him with the ball about 3 times, but he's clearly one of those players that wants the ball, is confident with the ball. And he's, you know, obviously from the fact that he's playing, it's not just a token gesture. He's clearly knocking on the door of getting game time for Arsenal. Jam Jar says he tore his ball away from his sack. It was sewn to the inside of my sack due to testicular torsion. Absolute agony. Did it at a Limp Bizkit gig. Oh, mate, I don't know. I don't want to know. That's something that I said I didn't want a horror tonight. Bloody hell. Jackie broke sternum, hurt like hell. Took ages to heal. Ewan says, who do you base your Scottish accent on when you say I've played the game? Soonest. It's actually very good. And do you have any other accents you do? I have lots of accents I do, but some of them you get cancelled for, and I don't really want to get into it. But it's funny how you can do some accents, but you can't do others. Did you see the goal disallowed at Brentford, says Harry? No, but Brentford did win. So if they had a goal disallowed, at least they did win. But I will check it out a bit. Appy says that the thing with your toe next to your big toe being longer could mean you have Roman ancestors. Why? Is that what they did? Apparently it's a common condition called Morton's toe or Greek foot, caused by a shorter first metatarsal bone which connects to the big toe, compared to the second metatarsal bone. While not a serious medical issue for everyone, this can lead to increased pressure and pain on the base of the second toe and may cause foot conditions. Genetic. I wonder if it's because I broke my metatarsal. No, I've definitely got it both. I've got it on both. Maybe that's why I'm so good at football. United have got a 14-year-old with the first team. I'm powered by Honda. I don't know if he's still 14. JJ Gabriel is very good. Well, I say he's very good. I mean, I always say until they play in the first team, that's when that's all that matters. Any chance you could have the Bundesliga as part of the charity funding video this year? Says it's Medon. How does that work? We do it in the international break. Jacob says my biggest injury is becoming a United fan. It's painful. Well, another enjoyable. Well, look. It's always enjoyable spending my time with you lot talking and watching football. I wouldn't say it was a classic. I predicted 4-0 before the game. I did ponder whether to do this game, and I think later in the season I probably would give it a miss. But I wanted to have a look at Leeds, and I was interested to see how Arsenal were at home. They've got so many options, Arsenal. I mean, Saka's gone off, and you've got Madueke, you've got Dauman, you've got Trossard, you've got Wanyeri, you've just bought Ezie. Look, Saka's brilliant, but at least Arsenal have built a squad this season. And hopefully the Saka injury won't be that bad, but it puts him out of the Liverpool game. Schlong says I was 5 and I tore my ACL but didn't realise until I was 17. Had surgery last year. It's been a slow recovery. I didn't even know you could do your ACL when you're like a kid. Saka becoming injury prone. I mean, the fact that he's only 23, I really hope he's not becoming injury prone. Leeds having a rare attack here. And then just lazily giving the ball away. Shocking, really. I suppose that's the only thing I'd say about Leeds. Can they score goals in the Premier League? Obviously got a penalty last week against Everton, but you've got to score goals in this league. Here's Declan Rice coming forward. He's going to go all the way. He's going to go all the way. Dauman, is this the moment? No, he can't get the shot off. Wanyeri, and Leeds win it on the edge of the box. Think Arsenal will do anything else in the transfer window, Mark? It's... I've heard things about Rodrigo. I don't see why you'd sign Ezie, Rodrigo, and Madueke. So I don't think Arsenal need to do anything else really. I'd be very surprised if they did. Yeah. I think they've had a good window. I think they've had a very good window. And when the season gets going, you've got to be prepared and ready to go. And I think Arsenal are. Congratulations on the Bundesliga deal. So happy for you, mate. Yeah, make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, because the highlight show goes out next week and we have got the rights to show every single goal. So I want that to become... I just think that it's a great opportunity for us to present things and tell our story the way we do in a community. And I've got really good ideas how I want to do it. And, you know, we'll take the feedback after the first show if you want us to do it in different ways. But I've got some really exciting ideas. And I'm not going to tell anybody about them because it's for us. And hopefully we'll get more and more of it in the future because, you know, I'm not just a presenter, I'm a creative, and I have some creative ideas about how I want to do it. And I want to tell the story of the league. They've given us that privilege, and I want to tell the story of the league, and I want to show how it can be done, and I want people to get interested, and I want people to follow certain teams and certain players. Very similar to what I did when Channel 4 got the Serie A highlights rights in the early 90s. I was fascinated by it every week. We only had one game a week on Channel 4, and it wasn't always the game of the week, to be fair. But I loved the highlights show, and it just got me to know more about it. So I'm really excited by it. Really excited. Thank you very much for your super chat, Sebastian. We're into the 90th minute now. Yeah, Man United tomorrow on the United stand, 4:30 against Fulham. And I'm on the United stand tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm just going to go and have my Chinese, pour myself a glass of red, and relax and talk about United for an hour or so. So looking forward to that. Centurion says they bought Gyokeres, but now they don't pass it to him. I made this point at half-time. I think it's a valid point. I don't think Gyokeres will flop on ability, and I don't think he'll flop at all. But if you want to get the goals out of him, you've got to learn to play to him. Now, Arsenal haven't had a striker, a proper striker, for a very long time. I'd say Aubameyang might have been the last proper striker they had. So they've got to learn to service him. It's not just Gyokeres, they've got to learn to service him. And I haven't really seen, in 2 games, a chance for him yet, created for him. So that's something that I would say Arsenal fans, all of us, need to see. It's going to take time because they're not used to it, but they've got to give him chances. Like, Haaland thrives on chances. Gyokeres' goal today came on from individuality. So they have to do that. Have you seen the Dortmund game, Harry? No, I haven't, because that was the half-5 game, wasn't it? So I'm just going to quick check the score there. I saw Frankfurt won. Leverkusen. We need somebody to sort of stick with Bayern for a few weeks. So let's go down. 3-3 in the 90th minute, Dortmund. St. Pauli. Dortmund have led 3 times as well. They were 3-1 up. 89 and 90. Dahlmann wants a penalty, and he has given it. And I wonder if Dahlmann takes the penalty, or does Gyokeres take it? Well, this would be interesting. I think they'll give it to Dahlmann. Exciting player. To be honest, I think he's played the game a little bit there. I don't think Stack really does anything wrong. I think he sort of... Yeah, I think he's played the game there at 15.5, and he already knows how to win penalties. I don't really think if it was 0-0 and that was at Anfield, I think that would be very contentious indeed. But in the circumstances, Declan Rice is going to take the penalty. Why is Gyokeres not taking fucking penalties? That's madness. You buy a £60 million striker and you don't let him take penalties. With all due respect, Declan Rice is world class, but he doesn't... Oh, he is going to take it. There we go. I think Rice just took it. I was going to say, with all due respect, Declan Rice is world class, but he doesn't need to add goals to his tally. I said 4-0 and 2 Gyokeres goals. I'm going to be right on one. It's going to be 4-0 and 1 Gyokeres goal, or it's going to be 5-0 and 2 Gyokeres goals. Here he comes. This would make Arsenal's goal difference +6 after 2 games. Carragher's going to be praying he misses it. I don't think it was a penalty, by the way. I thought it was a little bit soft, but it doesn't really matter. And it's a wonderful penalty. It's 5-0. He does his little celebration. I'm not doing that again. 2 goals for Gyokeres. He's up and running. I did say he'd win the Golden Boot. He who laughs last, laughs the loudest. Leeds are going down, says Dougie. I don't think Leeds losing to Arsenal dictates whether they're going down or not. They need to score goals. I think that's for sure. But he's up and running. He's got 2 Premier League goals. Of course, if Saka was on the pitch, he wouldn't be taking these penalties, would he? And it's altogether very good. Start to the season for Arsenal. Your new signing's got 2 goals. He's a striker. Should Dowman have took it? I'd like to have seen Dowman take it, but in the context of things, I think you need your striker to start getting confident, don't you? Because next week against Liverpool, you're not going to be playing Dowman. You're going to need your striker confident. So I think you let your striker and take it. Yeah. Timber man of the match. Yeah, I'd agree with that. 2 goals and an assist for a right back and a clean sheet. I mean, you've nailed it in FPL there. I mean, that's got to be about 90 points, surely. Final whistle, 5 goals. I mean, to be honest, I think the Bayern-Leipzig game was better last night that we had live footage for. But it reminds me a little bit of that in the sense that one of the teams was wearing Red Bull and they lost 5-0. But it wasn't. Was it 5-0 or 6-0 last night? I think it was 6-0 last night, wasn't it? Or was it 5? It was 6. It was 6 last night. Yeah, it was 6. But it reminded me a little bit of that. But I thought last night was a better game because Leipzig at least had a go. Leeds just didn't have any quality. But look, Arsenal, you don't win the league after 2 games and you don't lose the league after 2 games, but they haven't conceded a goal and they've got 6 goals. Spurs haven't conceded a goal and have got 5 goals. So North London teams sit there at the top for now. Liverpool can join them by beating Newcastle on Monday night. I'm trying to think who else could have a 100% record. Forest tomorrow. So how's that a penalty and not Cunha last game, says DV. Biggest game of the year is LAFC versus Inter Miami. Son versus Messi. Next year it'll be Korea versus Argentina in the World Cup finals. Book it, says Stephen Smith. GGMU says, congratulations on the Bundesliga deal. Would even you have thought this 10 years ago? Absolutely not. It's a genius publicity move by them and a glimpse into the future. Mate, it's been so successful. Like, the amount of coverage across the world, but the UK since Wednesday when it got announced, it's been unbelievable. We've been asked to do interviews with all the major news broadcasters. So much has been mentioned of it. It's had over 500,000 views already on our channel. And we've not even done the highlights package yet or any social sports shorts or anything like that. So, yeah, very, very clever move. And look, that's football. We are the biggest football community out there. It's logical, really. We feel tremendously privileged by it. But, you know, the numbers don't lie. The numbers are huge. Absolutely huge. So well done. Keep sharing the videos. Keep getting involved. Keep subscribing. And we'll keep pushing that door open and hopefully more is to come. Thank you very much for watching. I'll tell you what we do need. We need another one of me, basically. We need another brilliant presenter, which sounds a bit big-headed, but we probably do because there's so much we can do now. I just haven't got enough time in the day. So we'll have to have a chat about that. We'll have to have a chat, do a bit of scouting. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. I'm on the United stand. Sebastian, thank you very much for your super chat. I'm on the United stand in half an hour, so I'll see you over there. Take care, and thank you very much for watching.